Welcome back to another episode. This is the philosophy of chilling. Um, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about authenticity. How can one use the philosophy of chilling to accept, be, and live through their authentic self? Oh, shoot. Yeah, right. Okay. Wow. I don't know how long this episode is about to be. I'm gonna try to keep this short, but honestly, this explains why this has been on my mind for quite some time. Okay, so one more time, just for myself too. How can one use the philosophy of chilling to accept, be, and live through their authentic self? Oh, okay. I need a minute before I get into that. I can't even lie to you. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Well, first of all, let me say that I can only speak through my own experience, and I don't want anything I say going into these topics to offend anyone, but sometimes my tone can mask the truth or the love behind the things that I am saying. I'm not coming from a malintentioned place when I say the things that I say ever, even though sometimes it will sound like otherwise. Alright, so first of all, there's a reason why it's kind of hard for me to have an intro for the philosophy of chilling. It's difficult for me because this may not be the first platform at which you've met me. Now for some of you it may, but otherwise you've seen me, but probably haven't heard me. You probably interacted with me, and I probably don't remember, but I might remember your face, or so forth and so on. And I don't want to get too far into the particulars because then I'll be here all day. But I say that to say The philosophy of chilling is something that I'm still trying to formulate in descriptive words to new audiences. And I don't want to use, because sometimes I fall into this, the details of what I'm trying to portray get masqueraded by mundane vocabulary, or just, it may sound like something someone has said before, but what I'm actually intending to convey is just a tad bit different in that aspect. And that's what I'm trying to relay. But sometimes it's kind of difficult for me to put those particular words together. Meaning, the philosophy of chilling is meant to be a safe space. That's its main purpose, drive, and mission. It's supposed to create an atmosphere. Well, it already has its own atmosphere, but now it is trying to welcome others to it. And it describes the philosophy at which I personally, as Sierra Dunlap, Dunlap the Connect, and maybe other things, but it's what I utilize to kind of deal with the things that I'm presented in my life. And I'm trying to actively define it and present it to others. So by saying this, I'm trying to convey the fact that if we're talking about authenticity and how to utilize this ideology or philosophy in accepting one's authentic self, just based off of my experience, I've done a lot of research in my life. I've met a lot of people in my life. I've experienced a lot of situations that even the ones closest to me may not even know that I have been through. And some of those things have been with people that are decades older than me. Some of those things have been with people maybe 1 years younger than me. Some of those people have been relatively within the same age range as mentors, the next generation leaders. And what I'm trying to depict is, because of those interactions that I have been through, seen, understood, I receive all of it. And sometimes I speak, sometimes I don't, but I acknowledge it. I say all this to say, I understand the world that we live in today. There's an argument for anything that can be tangibly defined or physically, visually represented. With that being said, in accepting, the philosophy of chilling has provided me with an understanding of, you know what? I know this, 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 this are all stacked against me. Maybe my own thoughts, maybe the perceived perspectives of others, whatever. But I know it's there, regardless of the fact, if I'm still going to wake up today I don't know what life is gonna deal me, but I am willing to show up for it and go through it. And in order for me to go through it in a healthy manner, I have to always show up as me. I can't be uncomfortable while I'm doing it because I'm already doing uncomfortable things. So I might as well feel presently there so that as the things come to me, I can just react, think, maybe retract, pause, respond, talk, understand, listen. All of these things because at least what I've been able to learn is the fact that in order for me to accept who it is that I am, I had to be revealed to the physical representations of what I did not want to be and the mental obstacles I had to push through in order to open myself up to growth and development so that I could be able to say, well, I understand the principles. I'm applying them effectively. So if I am being blessed by God in ways that I'm not trying to over exaggerate, in ways that are not a reflection of me going for something else outside of instead of wanting and demanding results reflecting my ego, I just accept the fact that if I keep my actual thoughts on showing up in the healthiest version of myself, in those uh, under, not even understanding, but really genuine, with good intention, then I can be transparent in everything else. Because regardless, that's just reflecting the fact that I will show up at 110%. That's the mentality that I have had and have applied in order to accept the different layers of myself and how I can be presented or received outside of my own personal space. Outside of my own understanding, because once you're presented in the world, there's your perspective and then there is what people physically see. And if I wrapped myself around the physicalities, we could be talking back and forth all day. Somebody can have their opinion, I can have mine. But at the end of the day, it's like one thing that I can say is that any accreditation I can give to any point in my life where I've been able to lead or influence or present my thoughts and contributions to, that accreditation was God given. Not world given or given by the physical aspects of me genuinely saying, instead of asking for how to pray, of how to manage, and instead of praying for materialistic things or looking at a higher power for materialistic things, I'm genuinely looking for, hey, how do I grow to be a better support system for somebody else? And there have been conversations I've had, opportunities that have presented themselves, and moments in time where I can look around and I can say, there is no way somebody who is this clean and did this outside of God themselves. And in those moments and experiences, because I was able to sit back and take in all of the aspects of what I was depositing within those moments, it helped me understand that if I'm actually supposed to do what I'm supposed to do on this earth and be the person I'm supposed to be while I'm walking, I can put on a mask all day long. I have before. Oh, trust me. We're talking about authenticity. I'm literally talking through this question as I would be talking to myself. I put on many masks. I can be a people pleaser sometimes, but there's a line I draw because at the end of the day, I try to deviate from responding in the moment, because there's always a context or a layer that's unknown to the recipient at the time, or even the other energy within the encounter or the experience itself. And how can one use a philosophy of chilling to accept, be, and live through their authentic self? That B part is what I'm talking about right now. Like, what that BE, what that means to me is you're sitting there presently and you're registering, not just blacked out or, what you see when you pass that point instinctively. You get me? Like, that BE means you're aware of what you're doing and you're willing to own up to it, which then leads us into the live through. Does that make sense? Like, BE, being within yourself and living through your authentic self, literally means you owning up to what you actually did and then opening yourself up to the difficulty of discussing it, digesting it, and moving forward from it with or without other people. And it's a difficult road to go down when there is still fear surrounded by controversy. And potential controversy can also lead into the fear of being or saying thoughts that you authentically have, actions that you authentically would do, and then being able to open yourself up to other conversations that address wounds or anything else. But what I will say is that I am not always a chill person. Like, regardless of the fact that people sometimes say, "Oh yeah, you just be chilling." Like, she really just like be vibing for real. There are plenty of people that know that I be lit. Like, I be talking, like to socialize, do 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 do. But like, I get upset too. I get frustrated, and I will blow up. And when I blow up, it be up. Like, if you cranking notches, me too. Hey, you talking about? You feel me? And those open so many dark spaces that I've learned the value of what has been deposited in me so much that I have no choice but to be upfront with that dark energy and just have to look at it and be like, bro, I know you're there. I know you are. I know you are, but I'm not about to I'm not about to knock on you. I'm not about to utilize your energy or rely on that energy to help motivate and fuel me to do the things that I need to do. Because if anything, I want to reuse it in a way that is not as destructive as just letting you loose. And by being able to have that talk with myself has made me realize it don't matter what I say or how I can defend it or how I can explain the situation. It still affects people. So to be able to show up as myself, I had to come to a conversation very early on in life that I know I'm not perfect. What? And I'm not saying perfect as, oh, everything is right in line. No, but just I had set a goal for myself and I didn't achieve it. I'm frustrated, I'm irritated with myself, and I'm trying to get out of the habit of not beating myself up and just saying, okay, I'll try again, even if it's the next day. And because of that, even if I mess up in a high pressure situation, I'm always willing to go back and face it. and say, hey, look, you wanted me to show up 110. I did, but in this situation, I haven't. And because I wasn't able to respond in the best way that I had been striving towards originally, I know you may be uncomfortable. I know you may not wind up understanding, but I'm at least willing to talk. I'm at least willing to listen. I may tune you out sometimes, but I mean, I'm still showing up. And that's all I can do, because regardless, God keeps waking me up in the morning. And I do extensive research on all aspects of life, and I see the reflections of, of God in each and every aspect. I see where the principles are derived from. I understand where people are coming from, and it all can make sense. But if we're asking how to use the philosophy of chilling to live through your authentic self, it's about being able to have a conversation like that, even if it is with yourself. And after I calm down from any situation where I'm actually frustrated or upset, I always think to the fact of the only thing that is causing me to calm down isn't the other person standing next to me. It's the thought that I still want to keep doing what I'm meant and put on this earth to do. So if I have to keep breathing through, I will. And that's how I've been able to accept who my authentic self, who she really is. And I'm trying to be very particular with these pronouns, if you haven't noticed. Look, the philosophy of chilling is an ideology that one uses or one can use to help be a pivot of growth, towards growth, I believe. That helps you look at a situation and say, okay, am I really physically doing the principles of what I believe? Am I actually acting them out? Am I being the example of what I am trying to perpetrate and receive while I'm this God-given human being? And if I'm not, I need to be transparent with myself in addressing what I need to be doing better and actively take the hard steps to do it. It's not going to be easy. It's not what it was made for. It was made to strip your muscles and grow stronger ones. That's why you are sore after the gym. They had to get torn, you know? So accept it when you show up and when you don't. Because it will always feel good, but even when it feels good, you have to make sure you don't lose focus on the belief that got you there in the first place. That's, you know, difficult for me because I had to go through the process of understanding what that meant to me. If you want to be, look, I understand there have been sacrifices made on this earth, good and bad ones. And honestly, there's a lot of things out of my control. Because I've accepted who I am. That don't mean the world got to. And there's some parts that still don't. And you know what? I understand. I get you, I hear you, and I've studied and I respect where it comes from. I'm just saying, I hope my silence spoke volumes. But to be your authentic self, you have to have that type of attitude. And that doesn't mean go overboard or do extreme things. Just understand where you have to meet people in order to make them, to help them feel comfortable, just in general. Not because you want anything or anything else. Life is hard for everybody. And 50% of the time, your situation may not be exactly, or their situation may not be exactly what you think it is or should be. But we're all trying to live through it. Now you can stay in the same pattern if you want. But you're just gonna keep having to re-experience things that tear you down. And there might be moments where you get back up and then you walk and you have fun and you experience all this stuff. But like, it can still come tumbling down. And at least if it's tumbling down, it's because you weren't exactly, or you had experienced what you said you did. Where were you? And wherever you show up, are you just being you? I mean, let me tell you, sometimes it ain't been me who showed up. It's been somebody else with another motive and not wanting good intentions. But I'll be honest about it. And I've moved forward from it. And I'm willing to talk about it and apologize and do whatever else it is that I'm supposed to experience because of it. And that's all I can do. And that's honestly what it means for me to be and live through my authenticity. Because I can go into each and every label, each and every field of study, each and every historical background. Um, I can go into all this research and points, both pros and cons from both sides, and I can have those conversations. But what I'm saying in this episode is, in order for me to have these conversations and not have a piece of my soul be uncomfortable, it it won't be. It'll be protected. And when I am able to have these conversations and look people in their eyes and still see what I'm understanding them to say and what I'm understanding them to be, I can say I did it genuinely with open ears and active listening, because authenticity isn't about just saying and portraying what you like and, being, not necessarily boastful, but just outspoken about you in general. It's just more so, at least in what I'm trying to convey, the authenticity of the be is that hurdle of having to not necessarily agree to disagree, but that last hurdle to understand, hey, transparently, I didn't do what I actually wanted to in that moment. So let me unpack why and then take ownership for it, because that's the only thing I can do. And again, taking it back to what I said in the beginning, I have had to be able to hone in the knowledge that I understand and be able to articulate my experience utilizing words that I've had to assimilate to see if it fit what I was meaning. And sometimes I get it wrong. But I'm here to say, like, being able to live through your authenticity, I'm able to say when this aspect on the money. This aspect, I may not agree with it, but I can understand where you're coming from. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point. And I'm not going to say I'm always going to be patient in that process. But mentally, that's where I've been able to grow into and am furthering developing, moving forward. So if you're still wondering how one can use the philosophy of chillin to accept, be, and live through your authentic self, look, it's a journey. You're gonna have to address your fear, controversy. You have to genuinely understand where you're pulling your guidance and motivation from. Is it God given, or did you want it for another reason that doesn't feel quite right in your spirit? And where are you getting or giving your accreditation to? Are you able to understand not just what you feel and believe, but the historical backgrounds or the beliefs of other individuals that don't necessarily agree with you? Are you able to live through multiple hard conversations? The philosophy of chilling is here so you don't have to explode every time you're experiencing the things that you do or do not agree with. You can address it, give respect to it, comment on it, laugh about it, even if that laugh is being taken in a different way. But it's better than the response you would give on a regular day. So, with that being said, I'm done at the connect. I hope there was something in here that made sense to you. And if so, I hope to see you next time. I don't know what the next topic of the episode will be. So I'll see you. Peace.